Every night is the Rangers Journal night.
Yes, hello. It is Friday. The week is over, and you're all tuned in now to the Ibrox channel on the Rangers Journal. What a week it has been. We've had a manager sacked, we've had a head coach come in, and we've come back from 2 goals down. So, yeah, it could be a lot worse. And here to discuss the upcoming game versus Motherwell, among some other things, we've got a fantastic panel of guests. First of all, Billy, how you doing, big man?
I'm okay, Andrew. How are yourself, mate?
Do you know what? Not too bad. Not too bad. I'm getting on the Barry train.
The Barry bus, come on.
Barry bus, of course. Yes. No, that's definitely got to get a ring to it. Definitely. We've also got Doug with us today. Doug, how you doing, my friend?
Yeah, not too bad. Looking forward to the game tomorrow. Hopefully seeing some positive football.
That's it. Do you know what? We haven't been looking forward to too many games of late, have we? It's more of a chore, hasn't it? But yeah, no, good to have you on, Doug. And last but by means not least, we have Ryan. Ryan, long time no speak, pal. You well?
I'm good, lads. I have not been on a wee while, so yeah, how you dust after cobwebs. I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow. It's just good to be back. So thanks for having me again.
No, absolute pleasure to have you on, mate. Life gets in the way sometimes, doesn't it? We're all busy, aren't we? So, yeah, no, definitely. Well, before we get started, we have a fantastic new sponsor here at the Rangers Journal. Off to the Match I Go. They create bespoke, made-to-order gifts for loved ones, family, etc. So if you do need a gift, get in touch with them. You can get a free 15-minute consultation, either by phone or in the office, so your gifts can be tailored to your needs. So we've got a QR code on the screen there. You can scan the QR code for a direct link to the website, or you can visit www.offtothematchigo.co.uk. And because they are sponsors of the Rangers Journal, we do have a special discount code which you can apply at checkout. So for 10%, just put in Journal 10, as you can see on the bottom of your screen there. I did have a look at the website earlier, and there's some good signed shirts on there, which is too tempting to look at, so I had to just leave the page because I thought, oh no, I'm not allowed any more shirts at the minute. I've got boxes and boxes. But yeah, do check out the website. And of course, we've had loads of new subscribers to the Rangers Journal in the week, so thank you to everybody. But don't forget, it's free to subscribe here on YouTube. Just hit the subscribe button and click on the notification icon, and you'll be notified anytime the Rangers Journal goes live, because we do have planned videos, but sometimes when there's breaking news, sometimes we can just be on out the blue, and we're all live on the socials as well. So, as I was saying, what a week it's been. Clement's been given his jotters after a limp performance versus St Mirren. Within 24 hours, Barry Ferguson was put in temporary charge as head coach. So just to get a little bit of everyone's basic thoughts, of course, there's been lots of pods in the week about Barry coming in. And of course, there was a fantastic pre and post-match pod, which Doug did present. Billy, what was your initial thoughts with Barry Ferguson coming in?
Well, there was messages going around, was it Monday morning, discussing, mentioning that Barry was going to be the one coming in. And I just assumed it was a joke, because he's so far from my thoughts of someone who would come in and be Rangers manager, even in an interim basis. You know, he had a brief coaching. I think it was Clyde. He was my nephew's manager at Celtic Hearts, so I know him about from that kind of experience. But to step up to being the Rangers manager when, okay, we maybe don't expect that we're going to win the Europa League, but we still need to do well in it. We still could make another few million if we get, a round or two further forward. So someone in that position, the likes of Barry, didn't fill me with great enthusiasm. But there is a big but at the end of that, and it's who he came in with. And I really like Neil McCann. I know he's got a bit more managerial experience than Barry does, and I like the way he handled himself when he was the Dundee manager. And then you've got Alan McGregor, and you've got Billy Dodds as well. Billy Dodds is the one that was even more left field, I think, than Barry Ferguson for me, mate, because I hadn't even really thought of him in the past couple of years, but he's been working wonders with Dessers, at least in that second half. So I'll keep it to that. That kind of that period of time for the moment, mate, because I'm sure we will talk about that game too. But it was just so strange to get those messages, and then to see it confirmed in the afternoon was like living in some kind of we moved into like a bizarro world or something like that, because that's, again, I'm keeping this to my initial reactions, and I wasn't particularly chuffed, to sum it up in a shorter, more concise sentence.
Yeah, no, it was. It was definitely something out of left field, wasn't it? Clearly, I think, personally, I think the club were looking for somebody that knows the club inside out, that's only going to be there for 3 months, that you're not going to have to try and, kind of, because essentially you've got to coach someone into, this is what Rangers is, this is what we do. And in 3 months, it's quite difficult to do. So that's probably why maybe Barry was looked at. Doug, your initial thoughts of Barry's appointment, was it something that you thought is actually something that might be a bit more left field and not conforming to the usual kind of structure of bringing in the usual type of manager that we would look at? Is this something that you thought, actually, you know what, this could be something good for 3 months?
I was kind of similar to Billy in that I wasn't necessarily hugely pro Ferguson from a strictly coaching point of view, but when they announced, or when the rumours came out, it made a lot of sense from an optics point of view, and from the kind of what the board maybe kind of needs more than just the victories and changing things on the park, because the board have taken a lot of hits this season, on top of what they've had in previous years, and so they really needed to try and curry the fans and get a bit of positive fans sentiment going, particularly with season ticket sales coming up and things like that. And this is textbook. This is a textbook way to do that. Bring legends back into the club. So obviously, Barry Ferguson is the textbook legend. Al McGregor, recent player loved by fans. McCann's hugely favoured as well. Dodd's maybe not quite legendary category, but a very popular figure nonetheless. So they'll come in, and I think you'll feel the energy in the different way. You already saw it in the first game. I think you'll really see it tomorrow. The energy and difference that'll be in the crowd. And if they can just, as long as they're competent enough to get the team kind of firing a bit better and to kind of adjust the mentality, I think that's really all we need for the 3 months, because ultimately, we're not going to be winning anything, save some kind of Europa League miracle. So ultimately, for me anyway, their key goal is just to get the squad in the best kind of shape and way it can be for the new manager to come in and to then be able to run rule over them and decide what he wants to do for the longer term future.
Yeah, no, it does. It does appear to be that way, doesn't it? Because of course, when you've got a consortium, obviously, it seems to be more near completion for the 49ers consortium. There's a lot of things that are backing up that now. So it does appear that June is the kind of completion date, which is, of course, generally speaking, the start of next season. So of course, they'll have their ideas of who they've got in mind in charge. So yeah, it's about steadying the ship now and handing something over in a decent condition, in a sense, isn't it? Ryan, it's been a while
100%.
since you've been on. Obviously, there's been a lot happening since you've been on. I take it Barry Ferguson was a big hero of yours growing up.
No, he's my favourite player, Andrew. So I think with Ferguson coming in, more it's like your head's telling you, he's not had a fantastic career, managerial wise anyway. But my heart says absolutely yes, bring him in. I think he's done the right thing with his coaching staff. It looks like a Masters 5-a-side team they've just brought in it, but he's got a good coaching staff there, guys that know the club inside out. So even yesterday, I was just so happy for him. No, yesterday, the day before, sorry, but I was just so happy for him, seeing they turned that around and see him celebrating at the side. I don't think he'd ever expected to be in that situation again, where he's on that park and the fans are singing his name, and do you know what I mean? And even if it goes Pete Tong from now, do you know what I mean? I was just so happy for him to get that win and get that reception for supporters. I'm hoping it continues with Barry. I'd love to see Barry maybe throw his name in the hat if it keeps scoring. We're only one game in, so we can't get too excited. In terms of Motherwell tomorrow, I think you'll probably find there's more fans going to go to the game than there originally weren't. If you know what I mean, I think the Barry Ferguson factor brings more people to the stadium. I'm back to watching every press conference. I'm watching the pressers as much as possible, and I watch everything Barry Ferguson content I'm watching. But I don't know if that's just 'cause I'm a major fanboy. But I was chuffed to bits for him during the week, and just long may it continue. But obviously, it's Motherwell got a new manager as well, so they need to be careful of their new manager bounce also.
Well, that's it, isn't it? Yeah, of course, Michael Wimmer, German manager, and we'll go into him a little bit shortly. But yeah, no, I take it you've been watching that Barry Ferguson free kick in the cup final. I take it that's been like watched a million times on YouTube this week. But yeah, no, fantastic. So yeah, no, I think I was pretty much the same as you guys. It was okay. Obviously, Ferguson, quite a few years ago, it felt like he burnt his bridges with the club a little bit with some of the kind of pieces in the newspapers. But you could tell that there'd been a bit of a different feel, especially last Christmas, not Christmas just there, but the Christmas just gone. Of course, Ferguson appeared in that Christmas video with Paul Gascoigne and the first team squad as well, which was good to see. So it was good to see that he was back kind of involved with things at the club, because Barry Ferguson's a legendary Rangers captain. It doesn't matter how you look at it. He was the captain of a Rangers side that probably beat one of the best Celtic sides of this millennium, if we're being honest, and beat them to a treble as well, which is no mean feat. The amount of goals he used to score from midfield, and he just oozes Rangers. Now, I know obviously that doesn't always go fully far, obviously you need to be, somebody that's, good with tactics and things as well. Obviously he's got some managerial experience. But for me personally, it was just good to see somebody that really embodies Rangers at the club. From his press conferences, it did seem that he was instilling it more than what there possibly had already been. Because you'd imagine with Philippe Clement, Billy, he'd been there for well over a year. And, he, in conferences, he did say, he does understand what it is to be at this club and winning and stuff. Do you really feel that he did? Do you really think that, Billy? Clement?
It's easy for him to say, and even easier for him to think at the same time that he did understand it. But it's quite telling that Barry said he's installed that mentality within 48 hours. So he must have noticed that there was something not there. Maybe, Clement, he's like, well, I know we need to win every game, but like, no, we go to work and we get a week worth of, call it banter if you want. Sometimes it verges any more than that, but when you're Rangers and, well, I guess Celtic fans as well, you live it all the time. It's not just following a team and you hope they win. And we need to win every single game, and we need to win them convincingly as well. He completely misunderstood the humiliation of the Queen's Park result, and I think he finally got it with the St Mirren one, as you've seen his body language. So maybe that was him just realising, oh, I don't get this, because he was missing something, Andrew. Maybe it's that last 10% of just understanding it. Maybe he felt he did know what it's like to be the manager here, but there's plenty of good players have came to Rangers, and the shirt has been too big for him. So maybe the manager's suit has been too heavy for Clement.
It's a possibility. It'd be interesting to see what he does now after Rangers, because I'm sure there will still be clubs.
Andrew, can I come back in on that? I fully expect him to maybe even go back home and still be a good manager. Just because it doesn't work out here doesn't mean it won't work out for him, somewhere else. And I know he's not Dutch, but Dutch coaches have a great reputation. I'm sure he'll build his reputation back up as well if he does go back to Belgium. He may even get that job over in Saudi Arabia that he ignored for us. So I'm sure he will go back into management and be successful. But there's success and there's success at Rangers, and they're different things in football.
I think there's something that doesn't marry up with a lot of managers and Rangers, and I think some of it is style of play and mentality. I think we do play a very European style of play, and I think a lot of clubs do. I just don't think it really suits us, and I think if we were to go down the road of not playing that European way, I don't think we'd be as good in Europe, but I think we would be much better domestically. It's finding a happy medium, I think. But I do agree, Billy. I think that Clement, I think he'll still be a successful manager no matter where he goes. I think his style of football is probably more wedded to some other leagues like the Belgium league, but yeah, it's one of those. Doug, obviously looking back to the Kilmarnock game, I'm only going to touch on it a little bit because you had a fantastic couple of pods out on the night of the Kilmarnock game. Of course, you had the initial reaction at the final whistle. When we went 2-0 down, did you think we were going to come back from that?
No, I kind of thought that it all just felt kind of anticlimactic. I think I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. We all went in kind of expecting, oh yeah, this will be great, but Barry will have given them a bit of a booting, and they'll come out and we'll see a little bit of something. Plus, new manager bounce is fairly common anyway. So I think everyone was kind of expecting a little bit of improvement, and instead they actually managed to get worse, which you didn't think was possible after the previous 2 games. But they'll find a way sometimes. So yeah, I kind of thought it was going to be a bit of a disappointing sort of return to earth sort of thing after the buoyancy of kind of feeling a bit better, because Barry had spoken quite well in his video clips and things beforehand. So even though I wasn't necessarily pro him coming in to begin with, I still kind of got on the bandwagon nonetheless, and was hoping for that. So to have that kind of abrupt knock back down to earth, I was kind of like, all right, this is going to be another Clement-esque performance, and it's actually going to take him 3 or 4 or 5 games before we properly see something. But then, to his credit, he makes bold changes. He obviously has a good half-time team talk, and I think, to be honest, Davey from Art and Hand put it best. I think when he says, if that were the Clement game, we'd have maybe gone back to draw, but we wouldn't have won. And I think he managed to get that little extra percent that because it was a Clement game in terms of started off first 5 minutes or so we were fine. They score twice in quick succession, dominate the game, and then we're like, oh crap! But then we come out and play better second half. But we didn't just play better second half; we dominated second half. Kilmarnock, after we scored our first goal, that was it. Kilmarnock were totally out of the game, and that is the difference. Because under Clement, we would toil or just sort of huff and puff, and as I say, maybe get an equaliser. But I don't know if we get the winner if Clement was still there.
Yeah, no, I do agree with you there. I personally felt that because I haven't really witnessed. The only time I think Clement did come back from 2 goals down, it was in the game we wouldn't expect him to, and that was the Old Firm. Amazingly, the one kind of draw that he got at Ibrox last season. Ryan, Doug there mentioned bold changes. Of course, Enciala was hooked 31 minutes in for, I think Yilmaz came on from. Obviously, there's a lot of chat about Clement. He wouldn't have done that, but Clement has, he has made substitutions at half time when he's needed to. Do you think Clement would have done that?
Probably not. We've done first half changes when it comes to like Todd Cartmel and stuff. I think that was just Todd Cartmel not listening to instructions. I felt bad for Enciala. He's only a young boy, but I think Barry Ferguson wants to put his name in the hat for this job. He needs to make bold decisions. It was the right decision in the end. That we were so much more composed and solid at the back after that. But if in terms of Clement doing that, probably no, I don't think so. But shows Barry Ferguson's just a guy with a lot of bottle. He's got a good coaching staff there beside him. You've got Nino McCann in his ear every 2 seconds. They're always discussing. So it's probably a group decision because he's got a good background staff there. They're all Rangers inside out as well. The boy was struggling. Proper could have come off as well. It was either between either or, but Proper kind of settled in once had a more kind of experienced centre half next to him. Well, not experienced centre half, just experienced player next to him. But I don't think Clement would have made that change, no.
Yeah, no, I kind of feel the same as well. Billy, interesting one that I was thinking about just the other day with this game. Now, obviously, Kilmarnock came out the traps early on. Obviously, they got their 2 goals, and I think they really could smell blood, and I think they were aiming for 4 or 5, to be perfectly honest. Did that play into our hands a little bit? Because do you think that if Kilmarnock would have reverted to a low block to protect their leads, do you think we would have actually got back into that game and won it?
No, that was surprising because there was a lot of space. Obviously, for our opening goal, there was a lot of space behind that line that we could have maybe exploited a wee bit more. So maybe a little bit of hubris on Derek McInnes's part that he thought that we were there for the taking. We've just lost the manager. We've got, certainly compared to McInnes's experience, we've got an inexperienced manager opposite him. So, I'm just going to keep the foot on the gas, put the pressure on. But I don't think he would have been thrown by that change as well. And now we're talking about whether Clement would have made that change. And it was a bold decision. It was a difficult decision. It wasn't a difficult decision, Andrew, because we all knew one of them needed to come off. And as Ryan said, it could have been proper. The problem is that other managers wouldn't have done it, and Barry did do it. And whether that, it could even just be an experience on his part. I think the only time I've seen it happen, other than the Cantwell one, was Murty trying to make an example of the name. Give me the name.
Carlos Pena, maybe.
Halliday. Sorry, I was thinking about this afternoon, and that was clearly a few minutes before halftime to make a statement. This wasn't to make a statement. This was, look, he is not doing well out there, and both of them, him and Proper, have cost us those opening goals. And we needed somebody in there with a bit more experience. The only option was Tav. Again, we might come on to it. I thought he did really well, but the decision was we could all see it needed to be done. But you just don't expect it with managers like Clement or even Gio. You don't think they're going to make that change. That's where maybe Derek McInnes is thinking keep the foot on the gas and go for, like, as you say, 3 or 4, because they were very open. I thought the whole game, to be honest with you, they never really reverted to the normal McInnes type.
Yeah, and especially late on when they went down, they I think they were still looking to try and get forward and get another goal, and it really did come unstuck for them, especially when they started to tire, because generally speaking, we've generally got the better fitness vice other teams in the league, so it was quite surprising even then that they were still trying to go for it, and obviously it kind of all came crashing down. But there you go, you get that one frame from Curry there, Billy. He's agreeing with everything you're saying tonight, so you can give him that £10 later. All right.
I did say Tav had a good game. That might not go down well.
Oh no, I can hear typing now. But yeah, no, well, you know what? It was a fantastic win for Barry Ferguson. Kilmarnock have given us issues, not just this season, but other seasons as well. Rugby Park, especially when you got players that, like Nsiala, who probably hasn't played properly on that type of pitch before. So it was good to see him get a comfortable win in the end. That's exactly what it was. We played with a little bit of flair. We saw Dessers get a couple of goals. Obviously, we saw 2 strikers on the park, which was good. Obviously, James Tavernier, we might have found ourselves a fairly solid centre-back. We will get on to James Tavernier very shortly. But yeah, we rolled out 4-2 winners, and it was interesting listening to Ferguson in the post-match presser. Obviously, there were some very good questions. But yeah, there we go. So that was a good 4-2 win. We now have Motherwell coming up, where we've not just got a bit of a new manager bounce, but I'm sure Motherwell do as well with their new manager, Michael Wimmer. The German did take charge I think it was about 3 games ago. And looking at our stats over the last 10 meetings versus Motherwell, we've had 8 wins. They've had 1. We've scored 22 goals. They've scored 10. We've had 3 clean sheets. Motherwell have had none. So, of course, this isn't just Barry Ferguson's first home league game as Rangers manager. This is also, if he plays, which I imagine he will do, this will be James Tavernier's 500th game in a Rangers jersey. So he's just shy of the top 10 all-time games played for Rangers. He's 26 short of Ian McCall, who's in 10th place. So Billy, just to come back to you there, James Tavernier, potentially our new centre-back, 500 games for Rangers. What do you think to that?
It's a testament to him, really. To take his playing aside, how many players stay with a club in this modern day for as long as that to get that 500 record? He was maybe had high stock in the European run. He maybe could have been off after that, but he stayed with it. I'm here. Curry's typewriter going smoke as I'm saying this. I like James Tavernier. I know his flaws, and maybe it is time that he took up a different position. And I'm not suggesting he goes and plays centre half next season for us or anything like that. But if he can fill in there in the short term, that's great. A problem is we don't really have much in the way of right back cover as well as centre half cover. So, but I think a great achievement. I mean, when he first came in, he was scoring those free kicks, from outside the box into top corners, and he was a real catalyst to get us up. He's been in a few sides that have not his fault, haven't been of the standard to win the league. He's been in one or two sides that did have the standard to win the league and not done it, so that's on him as well. But he also has been the captain to win his 55. He's a captain that led us to Europa League final, and I think, as much as he's not that captain that I grew up with, the even the Barry Ferguson type captain, the screaming at your players and getting in their faces, whatever, he's not that kind of captain. You did see him the other night there with Enciala as he was coming off the park, telling him, look, this is football, you'll learn from this. So there is maybe sides of Tavernier we don't see. Clearly, all these managers have seen something in him to keep him as captain. And as much as I was maybe an advocate for changing the captain this week, I can see why Barry hasn't. But not great that he's got to this level. He's not been in. It's not been the best time in Rangers history, although there's been some great moments in that time that he's been there. And yeah, it's good on him. I hope he plays. Gets even. I don't know what's the next number, Andrew. Do you know after Ian McCall?
Oh, do you know what? I didn't look at the full list, to be fair, but I did know that he wasn't in the top 10. So my research when he went, it was only half-assed. What's that Rangers this
I hope
season?
he gets another few games and gets into that solid top 10, so he's not pushed out. But I don't think there's any danger of that happening anytime soon. As I say, players don't stay around as long. And whether he's only hanging around to get a testimonial or not, as folk have flung at him, who cares? He's been with us for this length of time. He deserves it.
Who cares? I can hear Curry typing away now as we speak. No, very, very well said, Billy. That he is. He's been here from a lot of bad times. He's been here through some good times as well. For me, I'll just always remember that penalty he hit in Seville. Stood up, first guy to take the penalty, hit it right at the top bin. I don't think you get more pressure than that, personally. He scored many a goal at Parkhead as well. There's not many Rangers players that even do that these days, especially when the pressure's on. So, yeah, no, totally agree with you. Doug, I'm going to come to you with this one. Golden White's got a question in the comments, and I thought it would be quite a good one to go to. So, is it due to our centre-backs being rotten that makes Tav look better as a centre-half, or does that position suit his game better now as he is getting a bit older? I was about to say getting on a bit. He's not exactly getting on a bit, but in footballing terms, he is getting older and probably slowing down. So what do you reckon, Doug?
Well, just for a pop onto that, the next number, Billy, is 535 in ninth. Peter McCloy, sorry. So not a million miles away from that either. To your question, personally, for me, I think it's, those optical illusions you get where you've got like two floor tiles and there's a shadow. It looks like it's a shadow casting on one. So it looks like they're different colours, but then it moves the shadow away and it turns out they're both the same. That's what this is like. We've moved Tavernier out of right back and into centre back, which has recontextualised it. And finally, people can see that he can actually defend. That's what's happened to you. No, I've been a little bit facetious with that, to be fair. I think it does make sense when you see you get a similar thing, I think, with wingers sometimes, or attackers who have often used pace in their game, and then they kind of tend to drop into deeper midfield roles. So a good example might be someone like Ryan Giggs, who, in his pomp was a flying winger, but then as he aged and the pace became less a factor of his game, he dropped into a deep sort of lying midfielder, more creative player where he could use his experience and his view of the game. And I think that's what we're seeing with Tavernier, because one of his skills has always been obviously breaking from right back with the attacking part of the pitch in front of him and finding the spaces that are being left by the defenders following the other attackers as he became the extra man. And then that would allow him to obviously make those late runs into the box and score a lot of the goals he scored. So I think that probably helps him moving into the centre back, where he now has the whole pitch sort of much more centrally in front of him and can kind of read the game. And one thing I think I've seen a lot of people pick up on that they've maybe not seen before, and this could just be a virtue of him being more on screen camera-wise, I don't know, or it could be something that he is doing more of, where I think we're in the games where he's been in centre back, we've seen him orchestrating the players around him more. You're seeing him sort of sticking hands out and pointing to players and shouting at people and doing stuff like that a little bit more than we've maybe done in the past. So it might be that it is something that could suit us. I've made the suggestion that obviously he's still got a year left in his contract, so potentially he could be here next season, and perhaps he maybe fills the Balogun role where he's less of an active on-field player, but there, because I mean, who better to be a backup player than a player who's always available, and but has that experience and qualities and that. So that could be a way to sort of complete the transition with him, because as I say, we do need to still look at the transition and moving the team forward. So the only lingering question that would leave maybe would be the captaincy, but yeah, as I say, it could be an option. I don't know if it's not a permanent option. I think we want to go out and get a specific centre back and top quality players for the position. But as a backup, someone that could play centre back and obviously in his right back position as well, that could definitely be an option for us.
Yeah, no, it definitely seems to be. I've always found Tavernier has been a better defender when he's got a bit of space, and he's been goal side. The exception is Maeda. I've always found that Maeda just got the pace to completely do it. But I've always found that when he's jockeying somebody and he has got a bit of space behind, he generally is a better defender. I guess now in that centre-back position, if he does remain there, he's not looking to bomb forward, so he can focus and read the game, like you say, a little bit more. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I don't see him necessarily starting at centre-back tomorrow, being at Ibrox. But I think it's something that we could utilise at times, especially with the way that our team has an amazing injury record, because of course we'll probably lose about 40 players by the time next week comes around, because that's just what happens. But yeah, so Ryan, just to ask you before I ask the next question, I'll ask you on this as well. So James Tavernier at centre back, is that for you?
I'm happy enough with it. I say his performance as centre half have been great. They are standouts, your Manchester United one. It's not a position I thought Tavernier could play. Obviously with kind of track record of his defending, it's always been a big question mark over him, hasn't it? So his attacking's obviously outweighed his defending, but his defending has been very, very poor at times. So it's not really a position I thought I could see James Tavernier playing. If I was going to see Tavernier go inside, it would probably more into a kind of centre mid role than centre back. But he's done brilliant. I think Tavernier as well, he's got a great delivery. So if we've kind of missed that Connor Golson, as much as Connor Golson wasn't everybody's cup of tea. I think we're kind of missing that long diagonals and long balls over the top. And I think Tavernier, with the whole pitch at his disposal now, not just kind of clipping up the line. And I think utilising Tavernier that way would be good. I still like him at right back. But as you say, there's not really a lot of players in all the positions. You probably need to play left back, right back, and stuff like that. So it's not ideal. But I think we're going to need some quality players all over the park. That's something for the summer. But Tavernier definitely, I think, could fill a gap at the moment. I think he's probably a better option than Propper and Nsiala at this moment in time at centre half. But then you could give yourself a headache of who goes right back as well.
Yeah, there is that as well, isn't there? But yeah, staying with you there, Ryan, a little bit. We have heard that there are some players that have been back training. So Leon Balogun, John Souttar and Dujon Sterling. Yes, Dujon Sterling, who we haven't seen for absolute weeks. They all trained today and could be available for selection. Barry Ferguson was quoted saying, "It was great to have them back as we're pretty light defensively. I'll touch base with the medical team in the morning." Who of those players are you happy with, Ryan, tomorrow? Is there any that you would start straight off the bat?
It's hard to tell if you would to start straight off the bat. If you told me they're all going to be 100% fit and they'll not get injured, I would say John Souttar. I think John Souttar brings a calmness to the defence. He's a good presence. I think he's got kind of a lot of leadership qualities as well. So if I could pick one, it would definitely be John Souttar. I wouldn't be too disappointed with Leon Balogun either. Leon Balogun would be more than better than the Propper and the Nsiala playing at the moment. Leon King doesn't. I think Leon King's his ships has sailed for him at Rangers, I think. But if I had to pick, it'd be John Souttar.
Yeah, John Souttar. Again, like when you spoke about Goldson, you don't notice always what you're missing until they're not there anymore. With Goldson, it was his great balls forward that would be absolutely fantastic, and he was quite good at winning.
Not really replaced that.
No, we haven't, and I think Souttar could potentially become that player. He does seem quite solid at the back. But Billy, is there anybody that you're hoping to see start tomorrow? One question I was going to ask you specifically: do you think that we are going to change the formation up now? Barry Ferguson, I did hear before we even set up at Kilmarnock, was he favoured the 4-2-3-1 formation, which made me groan a little bit. Do you think that might be adapted? Do you think he might change that up tomorrow at Ibrox?
I've got to hope so, mate. It's not worked for us. I would say the best form of the season was when Danilo and Igaman were playing together. Whether Danilo's ready to come on and start, if you're getting me to choose someone to come and start, formation wise, at home, should it really matter? We should be going out and dominating. Every team I would say every team at home, bar one maybe for the whole game, but for all the other games, we should be not really having to worry about formation. Should be, it's just be going out and try to get as many goals as we can, play good football, and hopefully Barry installs that kind of fire in their bellies kind of idea that it goes out, and that's where you get it from. If you remember the game, was it against St Mirren that we won 55, or we got right into the final?
The 1-1, was it a 1-1? I want to think it was a draw.
No. It was the game at Ibrox. I think it was like
before,
3 or 4-0 before. Yeah,
that was
that it. They knew. I think the St Mirren manager said they knew that day that they were going to get beat because just the way the Rangers players were like. If you can, obviously you can't channel that for every single home league game of the season, but we're needing it at the moment. We're needing some reaction to the way we've been playing. And you talk about Goldson and missing players like Goldson. I don't want to rewrite history, but Goldson was getting maligned for the stuff we were seeing even 2 weeks ago, the playing the ball backwards and playing it along the back line rather than progressing the ball forward. Hopefully, if Neil McCann can recreate what he said on Sports Scene into those players, and I'm sure they'll have watched that back. You probably put it on loop in the changing rooms to get them to understand, look forward. If we do that, I don't necessarily know if the tweaking the formations makes too much of a difference in this particular game, mate.
Yeah, no, definitely interesting. I'm glad I got your take there, Billy, because it's I guess Barry's not going to change too much. He's just in the door. He's barely had a week training with the guys and trying to put across a whole different system, different way of playing. I don't think works in a short space of time, and he's not looking to create and instill a new way of playing either, because it's not going to be his job in the summer. That's going to be for somebody else. Obviously, it's about stabilizing the ship and just giving us some sort of just showing what it is to play for Rangers. And Barry, of course, just symbolises that when you think of, a Rangers captain. But thanks for that one, Billy. Doug, obviously, Motherwell are a team that are experiencing a little bit of a new manager bounce as well. Obviously, we're hoping to continue our new manager bounce into next week. So Michael Wimmer is the latest addition to the SPFL Premiership, and he's it was quite an interesting appointment. Of course, Kettlewell left the club after some what seemed like quite a bit of abuse from the fans for just that kind of. He hadn't won in something like 5 games, and the fans really turned on him, which was a bit of a bizarre one, personally. So I don't think he'd done too bad in his time there, especially with the budget constraints and stuff. But Motherwell have kind of aimed fairly high. Michael Wimmer, he was manager at Stuttgart back in 2022, 2023 until 2024. He was at Austria Wien as well. And he comes into Motherwell. So he's played, I think he's played 3 games. He's managed 3 games for Motherwell, won 2, lost 1. Some of the fans do seem to like the way that he's trying to get the team to play. Any thoughts on Michael Wimmer yourself, Doug?
I must admit, I'm not hugely familiar with them. I've been doing a little bit of a look into them, obviously, earlier this afternoon in preparation for the lowdown coming out tonight. But as I hadn't heard of him beforehand, play seems to like the 3-5-2 from what I've picked up so far. As I say, it's early days, so it's kind of hard to get a strong picture of him. After this, I'm planning to have a dig into his past and see if I can get anything more out of him that way. But I do want to comment a little bit on the Kettlewell situation, which I thought was completely out of order. I don't understand what was going on with that at all. it's hardly the first time in Motherwell's history that they've had dips in form for what is essentially just a month and a bit. And it just seemed a bit bizarre. I thought was a really promising manager, someone that had some good ideas and was, like, say, prior to that spell, I thought was doing pretty well with Motherwell. And
I agree.
I thought until all kicked off, I was expecting it to turn around eventually, because ultimately, I think with most of the SPL teams tend to have periods like that. Just look at Aberdeen. They started the season looking like they could win the league, and then went on an equally long spell where they looked like they should be relegation fodder. That's an extreme example, but it just shows the changes, and I just thought it was a really, really bizarre one. It did. It also told me I had earmarked him as someone I was going to watch to see if he'd improved, because I was kind of like, if he keeps getting better, he could maybe be someone that steps up, but maybe not if he's unable to hack that kind of pressure at the same time. So, but I did think that's a bit out of order. But yeah, in terms of the manager, I'm not really got a huge opinion on him yet, because I've not managed to learn that much.
Yeah, there was little tidbits that I did pick up from his press conference, and one of the big ones was there will be many minutes we have to suffer at Ibrox. So I like him already. He's definitely ready to get absolutely pummeled tomorrow with Bazball, and it is Bazball, by the way, guys. I'm copyrighting that, so you owe me 20 pence every time you say it. Ryan. Obviously, Motherwell have been a bit of a thorn in the side for us at times. I think they were the guys that started the downfall of Clement about a year ago. We, of course, all remember that game. Do you foresee Motherwell being a bit of a sticky side tomorrow? Are they going to shut up shop? Are they?
You know what? I think it's a potential banana skin the way we've been playing at Ibrox at the moment. I think these group of players have got a history of getting ahead of themselves. I mean, it was a big win on Wednesday, but the kind of mentality the fans were really up for it, and it's just like, I hope they don't think, oh, that's us done our job. We've won a game. The fans are back on side. Do you know what I mean? I think the fans will be a lot less toxic than they would have been over a week ago in the stadium. I think the fans will get behind the players. But I definitely see it as a potential banana skin. I'm not 1,000,000% confident on it. I would love to see us get there and absolutely smash them. Like, obviously Ferguson's got this kind of style of play, it's the ball going forward. So, as I says, it's a potential banana skin. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm not 100% confident on it.
Oh, that's fighting talk there. You know, Barry won't like that. But no, I do agree, actually. Personally, looking at the Kilmarnock game, now don't get me wrong, we've all enjoyed this week. We've all enjoyed seeing Rangers come back from 2 goals behind to then win by 2 goals. It's been fantastic. However, the lingering thing in my mind is the fact that McInnes didn't change the tactics up. He stayed quite open. We've seen how we play in Europe. We love teams that come at us because we get in behind, and that's what we kept doing against Kilmarnock. Now, I see Motherwell sitting back. I just don't know. I don't know how Wimmer's going to approach this one, because I've not seen him up against any part of the Old Firm yet, so I don't know how he's going to set up. Like Doug says, he does kind of favour I think it was a 3-5-2, was it? I think originally. The weekend he did go with a 3-4-2-1. Obviously that goes out the window. You just don't know when it comes to games at Ibrox. Now, it's going to be a bit of a catch-22. Is he going to think, right, the last 2 teams that have visited Ibrox have won, including a championship side, so we should go all-out attack? Or is he going to put 10 men behind the ball and go, you know what, we've got to hope to try and get something out the game? Now, of course, he did make that comment, there'll be many minutes we have to suffer, so I think he's expecting and anticipating that we are going to go at them. Billy, how do you think they're going to set up? Do you think Motherwell are they going to just sit back?
I say we don't know enough about his philosophy, I guess. So I don't know enough to give you a definite. But again, you've just said that yourself. The last 2 teams that have came have played that kind of way. Maybe St Mirren to a lesser degree, but they've sat in, made it difficult to play through the middle, so we're forced to go back. So if I was a manager going into that game, that's exactly what I would be doing. I'd be putting my big man up front to hopefully be up against one of the either Proper or Enciala if other replacements aren't ready in time, and take advantage of that kind of weakness that they've got when it comes to playing against the big hefty defenders. So that'll be what I'd expect. No team can come to Ibrox. No team. You can't expect any team to come to Ibrox and just do what you want them to do. They're going to do what is the best. And just looking at our form, I even said the 2 games there. It's been all season. We've been susceptible to those type of results. And there's some games that I don't know how we've got out of the stadium with a win sometimes, because we're so negative when it comes to playing forward. Well, at least we have been. And guess we don't know what Barry's philosophy is going to be either. I don't think a lot of us spent a lot of time watching, his managerial career before, Wednesday night.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. There, Billy. Very wise words. Tom H94, who I think is Barry Ferguson, basically. That's his alias online. We're going to scud them, haha. So I do hope that's the case. It'd be nice to see a nice scudding over Motherwell, because I don't think we do it often enough. It really doesn't feel like we beat Motherwell that often. But some kind of key players to look out for. Obviously, Armstrong up front. We might be a little bit of a handful, especially against our kind of fragile defence, because we have conceded quite a few goals of late. They've got big defenders. Obviously, they've got O'Donnell, who very good at reading the game. You've got Gordon at the back as well, big, strong people. So it's going to be an interesting one. But I'm just going to go around everyone and get a prediction if I can. And Billy, do I have a prediction from you? What are you going with, mate?
Unlike Ryan, at the moment, I'm confident that we'll go in. It's when the whistle blows that my confidence drops to almost zero. With every game, and there's no point me saying the result. It doesn't matter what I say. 4-0 doesn't mean anything. I think we'll go and win. I think we'll win. Comfortably as regards possession as usual, but maybe not so comfortable when the ball gets lopped into our box, because even a throw-in now is a danger or a attacking position for these teams, because they're using the long balls and they're taking advantage of what has been quite a weak defence, certainly in the physicality side. But I think we'll win, and it doesn't matter the score, does it? I think we'll win.
Well, do you know what? I'll take a win right now, because you just never know with this game. Doug, do you have a prediction, big man?
Yeah, I think we'll win. I'm going to go for a comfortable one. I was actually thinking 4-0 myself. I'll maybe say 4-1. I'll give them Motherwell.
And they take the lead, of course, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be
their first shot. Yeah,
they'll take the lead in the first 15 minutes, and then we'll win 4-1. Actually, their form's still not good. They won their last game, but that was the first win in I think 4 or 5. They've got about 6, 7, 8 players out injured right now as well. So they're not they're complete full strength, and obviously still finding their feet, the new manager. So similarities to us in that respect. But I think the occasion will carry the players through. That's something that has been levelled at them before, that they can be up and down with the crowd, and that's, so for example, one of the reasons why they perform so well in Europe at home. And I do think there maybe is a little bit of truth to that. I think there'll be a real good atmosphere in the match, because with it being Barry's first home game, so that'll help carry them on. So I'll say 4-1.
Yeah, do you know what? It's not just Barry's first managerial game at Ibrox. It's I think it's Armed Forces Day as well, isn't it? And that's always generally quite a good day at Ibrox. So yeah, that'll be interesting. So I think the last one we didn't get a good result during the last Armed Forces Day at Ibrox. So Ryan, what's your prediction, big man? Oh, can't hear you, mate. You don't want to tell us, do you?
I think it'll be. I think it'll be 2-1 to Rangers. I think it'll be a tough one. I think we'll make it hard at times. It's just the level of inconsistency with the team. I just don't trust them. At the moment, it might be different with Ferguson, and I'm hoping it's a good 3-4-0 that Doug was saying there. I think we're always capable of giving away a goal from a long throw, from a cross, and we're not aggressive enough in their own box. I think even like a Proper will probably start, and I feel as if against Motherwell, he was very weak. He was nudged off the ball, he was hitting the deck and stuff. I think he just needs to be stronger. He needs to be more commanding. I don't know who'll be next to him, so I think that's just a bit of a problem. The defence is very weak at the moment. So I think we're always capable of conceding, but I think the crowd will be up for it more than the recent weeks. Kind of the Barry Ferguson, was it the Baz Buzz? What was it? What we're calling it, Andrew? Is it Baz Buzz?
Baz Bus, I think it was. I think Billy
Baz
was
Bus,
calling
was
that.
it?
Well, I said Baz Train, but of course that just doesn't sound right, you know.
Aye,
Billy's the
so
wordsmith here.
I think I think the fans will carry it, as Doug said, the fans will carry the players through.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think standards go a long way. Obviously, it won't get you everywhere in football. Obviously, you need to have a good tactician and somebody that's, able to adjust mid-game and stuff. And we yet to kind of really see that from Ferguson. Obviously, we've seen little bits like with the Nsiala substitute and a couple of little tweaks that he did well and worked for him. But you know what? Having the standards set high, it could make all the difference because, it's not a terrible team for me. I think some of these players can go on to potentially bigger things, potentially as well. I just don't think that what's happening now up until now has been working. And I don't think it was going to work under Clement. It really didn't feel that way. So that's everyone's predictions. I'm going to go 2-0 because I think it's going to be 2 late goals. I think it's going to be quite a stodgy game. Today, there was an announcement that there are going to be Old Firm allocations. 4% has been agreed for both teams for both the next couple of games, which is fantastic because I am big on percentage over number because, of course, they have an extra 60,000. Well, sorry, they've got an extra 10,000 seats at their place. So, of course, it makes sense to do it as a percentage. Billy, was that good news for you?
If my mate is listening in who's from the other persuasion, and me and him have had very long arguments.
Of course he'll be listening. He's one of the, that's just what they do.
Yeah, I know. No, I just felt that the whole thing was kind of unfair in the first place, that the demands that were put on us were never really reciprocated on the other side. So if this is what the fans want, I'm not in a way, I don't go to regular away games, so I can't speak for those people that do. I just felt it was what was getting asked of the club was unfair, and so if this is what they've agreed, by all means, that's great for the away fans. I mean, you can't argue with like when that Kenny Miller goal goes in against them there, or the Katic goal, or Pedro Mendes, and they run to that corner. Clint Hill, as well. When they run to that corner, it's great seeing the fans there. But I have been at Ibrox when there haven't been Celtic fans in, and it's a weird.
It is a weird
sensation. Yeah. So I mean, this is maybe just I was being argumentative with that so-called mate I was talking to, and we were having it back and forward. But he was wanting the whole stand back again, and I just didn't think that was really fair because we were shoved up in the corner. So yeah, if that's what the club's agreed and they stick to, I'm glad that it's Celtic that has to abide by it first, and we don't do it and then get caught. Again, they've been the ones that don't get it reciprocated.
Yeah.
So good. It's again not an away fan. Hopefully all the away fans that do go and want to go are happy with it. I feel sorry for folk that get moved. My first season ticket was in the Broomloan, so I did get moved for the Old Firm game. So it wasn't, you didn't always know where you were going to be. So yeah, at least there'll be less of that now, at least.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And Andrew, let me just say one thing on when they had that whole stand. It was loud. I'm not going to take that away from you. You could hear it from outside the stadium. The away fans make a big lot of noise on both sides. So, for the team, it might get a bit better results rather than going, 3-0 down by half time.
Yeah, you never know. Doug, is that good for you? 4% each?
I'm just glad to see progress on it. I mean, I'll caveat my opinion with, I'm not a regular match day goer, so I'm not able to go against regularly. So I'll caveat my opinion with this, but I found the entire thing to be a complete embarrassment for Scottish football in general. That one of the so-called greatest rivalries in football, and yet there's no rivalry in the game because there's one set of fans missing. And I understand how we got to that, and I understand why, particularly on our side, we kind of had to hold out because we couldn't. It was one of those things where we just couldn't let them get another thing that just went their way. So I understand the reasons for that, but I still just thought the whole thing was a bit of an embarrassment for Scottish football, and detracted from the games themselves. Like, one of my favourite recent Old Firm goals is the Tav free kick just before half time. We're 1-0 down,
Yeah.
and he's the absolute beautiful free kick, and there's utter silence. And it just, every time I watch it, it just kind of sucks a little bit of the enjoyment out of it, because there's not there should be the jubilation of the fans in the background that's just not there. And it is something that I try to take quite a neutral stance as best I can, because I think, it's something that it's bad for both sides. It doesn't help anyone, so I think it's good. I think that Old Firm games are better with the fans there. You get the banter, you get back and forth, you get all the stuff that comes with it, and you get a better atmosphere all in. So, as I say, I'm very happy to see progress happening. I'm of the opinion that I think the European allocation is probably the right end point to get to. I think it's right that I don't think we can go back to what we had before, like what Billy said, in terms of the full stands. We've moved too far away from it now. I would like to see them eventually get to a sort of a European allocation. So they've got a decent section in the corner. We get a decent section at theirs, and then, like you say, you get that noise from both sides. And I just think it'll improve it all greatly.
Yeah, no, I do agree. And actually, I did see a clip of that goal a while back. Somebody shared it on Twitter. And it was with the that there lot television's commentary, and I think it was Tom Boyd, and he's just absolutely greeting about, oh, it's not even a good goal, it's not even this, it's just so funny. So if you do get a chance, find that on Twitter. Ryan, is this good for you, big man? Have the both fans back, bring the atmosphere, make it that little bit more feisty?
No, absolutely, mate. I've been to loads of Old Firm games. I've been to Celtic Park a few times. It's a fantastic occasion going to Celtic Park, and when that ball hits the net, it's absolute bedlam. I'm not a regular away. I've been to all the grounds in Scotland, to be honest, but not a lot in recent times. But everybody I know that goes to away games wants the allocation back. And it just makes it a better spectacle, not only for ourselves but for the audience around the world. It's one of the biggest derbies in the world. So for our game doesn't get talked up a lot. Our game gets kind of shat on a little bit, and I think that didn't help. That didn't help. It looked very petty, and it didn't help the fact that this huge derby had no fans at either side. I've been at Ibrox, and I've been placed next to the Celtic fans when Rangers score as well. It's brilliant to give it to them. You know what I mean? It's and vice versa. They want to do the same. I was at the Kyogo, the game of Kyogo scored to 1-0, and it was an eerie silence.
Yes, I was at that game as well. That was weird.
Yeah,
I was down the other end of the pitch, and it was strange because I didn't even notice he scored, because it was like their only shot, wasn't it, as well? It was just before half time.
It was like you're on 100%. It didn't feel as if, I just felt as if nothing happened. It was weird to see them running around and there was no noise. So I'm absolutely for the allocation coming back. It just makes it a better spectacle for the audience worldwide, and for the supporters as well. It's good to give it to the Celtic fans when you go a goal up.
I do agree. It's nothing better than going to goal up away, is there? Especially in an Old Firm. Absolutely brilliant. So at least that's sorted out. Before we go, I'd just like to remind you all, our sponsor is Off to the Match I Go. Head to www.offtomatchigo.co.uk and you can get 10% off all products with the promo code Journal10. And they've got some great match worn shirts on there as well, which I have been tempted with, but I can't look because I'm just had need to remortgage. It's not happening. But before we go, there's been some information released from Rangers today in regards to away supporter information for Fenerbahce. So if you haven't seen it, head to rangers.co.uk and have a look under news, because there's a lot of caveats for going to that game. And if you have been lucky enough to get a ticket for Turkey, there's a lot of things you've got to follow. So there are... Basically, you have to get the bus to the game, which is a specified bus. which there's going to be designated areas that the fans are going to have to be in. They're advising people not to wear football kits, and you're going to have to meet at, I think it's Clement Square, where there's going to be police escorts to transfer people to buses. Each bus is going to have 80 supporters. I think it's going to cost something the equivalent of €20, I believe, to do that. There's no food or alcohol allowed on the buses. Then when you get to the other end, there's going to be stringent searches. You can't have any bags bigger than A4 size. You can't take a lot of things into the stadium. So there is a lot of hassle. You've got to have your passport with you as per the rules there. And there's going to be perimeter searches. So there's a first perimeter, second perimeter, third perimeter. And there's going to be, obviously, no matter if we win or lose, they're going to be holding the fans back. And I think that it's going to be between 90 minutes and 2 hours for that. So if you've got any concerns, slo@rangers.co.uk. So that's the support liaison officer for further information if you do have any concerns. But you can't take things like battery packs, coins, vapes, throwable items, makeup. So Billy, you know, if you're going, mate, don't take your makeup. Bags larger than A4 size, as I say. Clothing with offensive wording. There we go, French connection. Maybe
You just basically can't go. You just can't go.
you can only go
Yeah,
naked
it's-
while standing on one
I'm going to
leg. So
Afghanistan.
yeah, pretty much.
Going to war.
But there we go. So if you are going to that game, do look into it. Don't be caught out because you might not get into the stadium and you don't want to travel all the way over there for that to happen. But now we've reached an hour. It's been fantastic talking with everyone. Billy, Doug, Ryan, it's been absolutely fantastic having you guys on. Don't forget, the Ibrox channel is on Twitter at the Ibrox channel. Of course, the Rangers Journal is as well at Rangers Journal. Every night is a Rangers Journal night. The Rangers Journal will be back, of course, tomorrow because, of course, we are playing Motherwell at Ibrox, which we have been discussing. So do take care, everybody. Enjoy your Friday night, and we'll see you all very soon. Take care, everyone. See you.